news! Former girl group member sentenced to prison for growing marijuana at her house.
A K-pop idol from a group that has recently separated has been caught smoking and growing marijuana in her apartment in Gangnam.
The group hasn't actually separated. What happened is she's a 24-year-old girl who was a member of a 6-member group that was disbanded, and then she became a member of a 5-girl group that debuted last year, but is not one of your top elite K-pop groups.
This is a girl who got caught with weed in Korea, and she was in 2 different K-pop groups?
She was in 2 different K-pop groups.
She's not in any K-pop groups now.
Well, I think she was in one, but she probably isn't since all of this investigation stuff went down. So yes, she was growing it in her apartment. She was growing pot in a pot in her apartment in Gangnam, and she admitted to smoking it twice, in April and in December. Other information that I was able to find is she was initially fined 3 million won.
$3,000 roughly.
And then it went to an appeals court and they decided that the sentencing was too light on her, so they increased her sentence by giving her 6 months of prison labor, 1 year of probation, 80 hours of community service, and she was fined 6,000 won.
Well, all of that, and she was only fined $6?
Yeah.
So they lowered the amount that she has to pay, but she has to go to prison now.
Yes.
I don't know about any of you, but I am a big-time advocate for legalizing marijuana and cannabis, hemp, throughout the entire world. It sounds really strange to say it that way, but there's very specific reasons why it's illegal, and unfortunately, they don't make any sense.
No, they don't, but for me, it is a law that she did not abide by, and as somebody who is definitely in the spotlight that people are watching a little bit more, this was really stupid of her.
Oh, no doubt that the federal system in Korea wants to make an example out of her. They don't want drugs of any recreational kind over in Korea at all, other than alcohol, which is far more damaging than marijuana.
And they allow cigarettes, because cigarettes are actually quite cheap over there.
Which is also far more damaging than smoking marijuana.
It's like, we're just gonna kill them? Let people kill themselves, but don't let them touch the green stuff.
Did you know that George Washington grew marijuana on his farm in Mount Vernon?
Yes, I did.
Okay, well, I don't think a lot of modern day people realize how interwoven marijuana and cannabis hemp was in the early days of our history. It was always used. The Constitution was written on hemp paper. We used it all the time. And the person who wanted to make it illegal, his name was William Randolph Hearst. There was a lot of people who made a lot of money selling paper from forestry that was in direct competition with hemp paper. And so they wanted to just make hemp illegal in order to profit more from the products that they were making.
And I think that's kind of noteworthy because Korea actually historically smoked a lot of stuff too.
That's right.
Not only just marijuana, but also opium and stuff like that.
Korea, China, a lot of those countries over there, before they were even countries, did that sort of behavior.
And it's still very much legal up in North Korea, but South Korea has a lot of influence from the US when they were doing a lot of this cracking down on marijuana and drugs like that, and so I think that is part of what carried over there.
The Marijuana Tax Act of 1937 is the law that made marijuana illegal by federal law throughout the United States. You and I have both said this so many times, but Korea in so many ways has, I don't want to say copy, but they emulate so many different aspects of American society. They did it starting in 1953. Early on in 1954, you can see so many educational policies, for example, adopted from the United States and implemented in South Korea.
And there are many reasons for that, and there's a lot of historical context that we could go into that we're kind of breezing by.
It's important to note that a lot of things were adopted, a lot of good things were adopted, but along with the good things were other things that weren't really strongly considered. like, if you look at Colorado these days, it's completely legal in Colorado for anyone. You can have it on your person, you can have it in your car, you can have it at your house. And the only thing that you're not allowed to do in Colorado, as far as I know, is smoke it in public. But otherwise, police can't get you in trouble for it anymore. And that's the way it should be.
However, if you are a Korean, you better not go smoke it in Colorado and then go back to Korea, because you can still get busted for that.
They don't even care in Korea if you're caught smoking it. They literally will get you in big time trouble if it's just in your system. You can go to Amsterdam, for instance, where it's legal, smoke it. Totally legal. You're not breaking any laws whatsoever. Go to the airport, hop on a plane, fly back to Korea, and they can pull you in a room and test your blood, and you can go to jail.
And in fact, G-Dragon, back in 2011, had a sort of scandal like this, where somebody had passed him a joint at a club, and he like took a hit before he realized what it was, because he thought it was a regular cigarette.
Yeah, sure.
And then it was in his system.
G-Dragon's a smart dude. He knew what the hell he was doing.
Okay, there's been a lot of people who've been caught with pot in Korea that are celebrities. This is not really a new thing. The last person that was really big that came out as being in trouble for pot was a rapper named Iron, which I had never really heard of him before, but he had gotten caught, and that was big news in April of this year.
Oh, that was this year?
That was this year. But there's been a lot of other people, and in fact, people like G-Dragon, he had a controversy. Psy, he had a controversy.
Psy has had multiple controversies. It's amazing how Psy has overcome all of that. I admire that guy as much as anybody that I even know in celebrityism in South Korea, because of the adversity he's had to face legally for very menial laws that aren't strongly considered. And yet the guy's larger than life at this point.
What gets me more than anything, though, is that there's so many other issues going on and so many harder drugs that are actually a serious problem. We're not talking about those, but I'm going to be talking about them just very briefly. Things like ketamine, ecstasy, cocaine, meth,
Heroin,
yes.
Of course.
But like there was a guy named Kim Sung-min who died. He committed suicide because he got caught multiple times with meth, and so he tried to commit suicide and he ended up brain dead. And in October of this year, earlier this month, an actor by the name of Chae Chung-yup, who you may know because he was in School 2013, was caught smoking. Was it smoking? No. Was he smoking? No, he was injecting meth.
Jesus. And just to be clear, marijuana is much safer than alcohol, cigarettes, and all those other drugs that you just mentioned. And there isn't enough education on this. Comments down below, let us know your thoughts on this one. I think it's interesting that she didn't even have her name published in the article.
Yes, she was known as Miss A. That's not the K-pop group, but there are a lot of speculations going on in a particular Reddit thread that I read where people are trying to figure out who it is, but she's not a very well-known singer in a very well-known group, and so it's a little vaguety-vague. Not to mention they crack down on that now. Like, you can't just throw a name out there because then you're going to cause issues and defamation and stuff like that.
Well, that's good. Click the like button, you guys. Thank you so much for supporting us, and don't forget to subscribe for more HallyuBack news. That's it. We're out of here. Hasta luego!
Bye! She was still really stupid. That was really dumb.
I don't think she's stupid.
I think she's stupid.
I think the law is stupid.
Both are stupid.